Anime and manga have such a variety of genres that cover so many different kinds of themes and stories. You got slice of life, shonen, mecha, shoujo, harem, I know who you are. But there's this one genre that got really popular really fast and kind of took over for the past couple of years. But how did this genre stand out against all the other ones? How did its popularity also cause its biggest problem? So just tell me if you've heard this one before. Some young adult is living a sad, unfulfilled life and is either going to the store or going to work, and they get hit by a truck of some kind. They then wake up in some sort of fantasy world with some ability of some kind. They then use this ability to solve the world's problems, and they suddenly become extremely popular, and their life starts to get a lot better than their old boring one. And if you have heard of that, then you more than likely have watched Isekai, which the definition for this type of genre is literally just described as a protagonist dying in our world, but then they get reincarnated into a magical or fantasy world. And that's the entire appeal. Not the dying part, obviously, but the part where they're transported to another world. Isekai is basically just escapism on crack, taking heroin. It takes a relatable situation, the feeling of being in a rut, that life isn't really going your way, and instead of going through a midlife crisis, you get killed, and then you go and kill some goblins, you go on an awesome fucking adventure, and that's if you get lucky, by the way, unless you get the short end of the stick and you end up like Subaru. But that rarely happens. The main goal of Isekais are supposed to be fun, to remind the viewer and give them a sense that everything is going to be okay. It's never too late to get your life back to how you want it to be, or to just do something that you want to do. However, the last couple of years after the genre started taking over, it really started becoming way too popular. It ran into a huge problem because of that. Let me read you off a few names of some isekais you can watch. The Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Reincarnated as a Sword, Reborn as a Vending Machine, I Now Wanted a Dungeon. Are you seeing the theme here? How did this happen? How did a popular genre get so saturated with stories that are so similar? Alright, let me take it back to the year 2012. A new anime starts broadcasting by the name of Sword Art Online. You've probably never even heard of it. The show's main conflict was that a large amount of people get stuck in a video game due to a madman. And if they died in the game, they died in real life, with the condition being that if they reach the final floor of the game, they are set free. The story follows Kirito, a young nerd who isn't really succeeding in the real world, and he has a strained relationship with his family. He isn't really bothered by being stuck in the video game. He immediately decides he's just gonna grind and become the biggest sweat in the whole game, and that's kind of it. You kind of see him grow as a person and gain actual skills and confidence. I mean, he thrives more in the game world than he does in the real world. I mean, the man even gets a girlfriend and then marries her in the game. But it isn't just about him the whole time. The show explores the concept of normal people getting stuck in a world where they have to now learn new logic and follow basic RPG rules. They have to level up, they have to start an economy. Some of them don't even go out fighting. Some become blacksmiths, fishermen, teachers, and etc. It's definitely an interesting concept. So interesting, in fact, that the popularity started a chain reaction. More isekai mangas started getting anime adaptations like Tanya the Evil, which was published in 2010, but it got an anime in 2017. And Tanya was one of the first stories at the time to introduce the trope of dying and being reincarnated into another world. And because of this surge in popularity, people started writing even more isekais, which by 2012 would give us Jobless Reincarnation, which due to its own popularity, it is credited for creating a lot of tropes. These tropes being, having an overpowered protagonist, them using meta knowledge from their previous life, and more. But because it was popular, everybody who wanted to make a big manga and get their own anime started making an isekai. And that's when it happened. No matter where you went from 2019 to 2022, I'd say you couldn't be a manga or anime fan and not notice how every season we had about 100 new manga and 50 new anime in the isekai genre. So it ended up becoming saturated very quickly. Every story was basically the same. So how do you fix this? Well, some genius came up with the bright idea of being like, what if they got reincarnated as something funny or unique? The thing is, this worked for like a month, and then everyone was doing it again, which is how you get fucking reincarnated as a damn vending machine. But it happened again. The genre had become saturated. Now there was even more garbage. And basically, when you're seeing the same thing over and over again, everything becomes dull. And that was Isekai's biggest issue. It was popular, but it was boring. That doesn't mean, however, that I don't think that there are some good animes and manga isekais out there. I think there is. And I think there are a lot of good isekais out there. You just have to really look for them. There's not a lot, but they're out there amongst all the garbage. And it does seem that the industry is starting to move away from isekais, finally. It feels now that the pressure is off, the genre and everyone and their mom isn't trying to get the next MAPPA deal, that actual new and unique stories are being written and then being adapted. Plus, the actual good ones getting more chapters and seasons also help. Even if that means from time to time we still do see bad ones pop up. But I think it's safe to say that the isekai dominance is ending. And that's going to be it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, check out more of my videos talking about anime and manga, like my Nana video where I talk about how it was almost perfect.